Good morning, everyone. Glad to see you. My name is Denise Rhymes, and I have the honor and privileges of serving as the president of the board of directors of this wonderful congregation. For those of you who may be here for the first or second or third time, either here in the Great Hall or out there in TV land, I just told you how old I was, TV land, we welcome you to this congregation dating back to the 1800s, and a congregation that has been at the center of social justice for so many years here in this Richmond community. I want to give you a couple of updates from the board. First of all, I wanted to let you know we've had several questions recently about the efforts resulting from our capital campaign. You may remember that a couple of years ago we kicked off a capital campaign ostensibly to begin to repair the roof. If you haven't been here during a rainstorm, then you haven't known the beauty of experiencing rain indoors. So we have gotten, the first step was to get bids from architects. We engaged an architect, and the architect has been working very hard to put together a plan for us. The plan has just come back, and we are working through all of the technicalities of the plan. I know it seems like a long time without hearing a lot of information, but our roof project committee and a couple of the board members in particular are working very hard to sort through that, make sure that we have funds appropriated in the right way. The board will be meeting next Tuesday night, and we will be talking about the project. So if you're interested in hearing more, we invite you to keep an eye out in First News Weekly, and the link for the board meeting will be there. We invite anyone who's interested in how to make a building less rainy, please join us, and certainly if you can't, you can read the board briefs afterwards to learn all the details of the discussions at that meeting. The other thing that I would like to tell you is that as of this morning, we have received 117 pledges totaling $407,484. That leaves us about almost halfway to our goal. So what that means is that if you can get us to the $450,000 mark by next Sunday, we will be able to throw things at Reverend Sherman so that he falls into the dunk tank. If that appeals to you, I strongly suggest that you make your pledge this week. He has agreed to serve in that capacity, among his other duties as assigned. He's agreed to serve in that capacity if we reach 50% of our goal. It's really important to pledge. It tells us the solid money that we know is coming in terms of planning for the budget, which we need to approve very soon and will come to you before the annual meeting. So we'd like to get to 100% pledging. That isn't always the case, that it doesn't usually happen that way because there are some people who, for whatever reason, choose not to pledge. But for now, I want you to remember Sherman in the tank as you're considering your pledge. The other thing I would like to remind you of is that along with the dunk tank, we will have a cookout. We are firing up and getting ready to go grill next Sunday as we end the official portion of our campaign. So we invite everyone to join us after worship. Burgers and hot dogs and vegan substitutes, is that how you say that? Vegan offerings will be available from the grill, and we invite everyone to bring a side of your choice, either salad or a dessert or whatever floats your boat. Just remember, no nuts. All of you are invited. All of you nuts are invited, but no other kinds of nuts, if that's okay with you. I'd like to now introduce Bob Blinn, a member of our congregation, to talk to you a little bit about why he gives to First UU.
Thank you, Denise. Good morning. time, talent, and treasure. Those are all ways people give to their church. It's certainly true here, with hours and hours and stunning expertise. People tend our church gardens, run gallery, teach religious ed, sew quilts, sing in the choir, lead groups, just to name a few. People really love this church and give freely of their beautiful selves. But it's treasure, giving money, that I'm up here for today. What fires me up about pledging to First UU? For one thing, I love being a part of this loving community. But I also love what I get for my money. Strong, talented staff for preaching, music, education, tech support, maintenance, community care, lights, water, upkeep, mortgage, like many of our homes, justice work through our risk membership fee, Richmonders involved for strengthening our community, a share in a vital regional and national UU presence on which, again, I feel like I get a high-value return. Educated clergy, help in transitions, cluster meetings, SUSE, General Assembly, and disaster relief at home and around the world that is immediate and flexible. The biggest reason that I give, however, is that First UU embodies my values. Its principles are my principles. I give to what I live for. My giving is life-giving. I remember my first Sunday here back in 2013. I'd been reading Friedrich Nietzsche, but also getting bummed out about the fights in my old church over LGBTQ folk. And so that very first Sunday, a student intern preached on a quote from Nietzsche. And the very next Sunday, the senior minister told a funny story about herself and her wife. And I thought, these are my people. It was like a dream come true. I joined the choir, I helped out at gallery, and I made the biggest pledge I had ever made in my life. I was in Mozambique on a Sunday morning a few years ago. It was a Methodist church, but the offering time was something else. A big basket was put front and center. The musicians struck up a lively tune. People began to sing and dance down the aisle, bringing their offerings. They were so happy, so joyful. The church was their life. Their giving was life-giving. Now here, we can give online or on our phones or sedately pass a basket. Still, for me, giving to First UU is one of the happiest things I ever do. My giving is life-giving.
Welcome again, everyone. I'm Reverend Lauren Levewood, and I'm so happy and honored to serve as one of your assistant ministers here at the First UU Church of Richmond. Every Sunday morning, we like to extend a warm welcome to anyone visiting for the first or second time. So if you'd like to introduce yourself and you're a visitor or guest today, our minister of the mic, Jamie, will bring it around and let you do so. Just raise your hand.
I'm Eve, or whatever. This is my first time here, and I'm from Henrico. So.
morning. I'm Richard Turner, and this is my husband, Jim Harrison. We have just moved back to Richmond from a very, very long time in California. So I grew up in Midlothian, and we just got a beautiful town home right next to the Carillon, so we're very excited. And that's it. Thank you.
Good morning.
Hi everybody. I'm Ren from New Kent County. Just moved here back in October, and this is my first time here.
Hey everybody, I'm Stevie. I live in the East End. I've been here a few times but have never introduced myself, so hi.
Thank you, everyone, and welcome to you all. Now is the time to greet one another in person, so please turn to your right or left and greet your neighbor. And I have another introduction to make. We have a special guest musician joining us today, Jim Wilson. Here's Jim. Jim is a cellist and artistic administrator who splits his time between Virginia and New York City. He plays in concerts and festivals around the world. He teaches at Columbia University, and he's the artistic director of the Orpheus Chamber Music Orchestra, as well as the Chamber Music Society of Central Virginia. And he will be performing here in the Great Hall this afternoon at 4 o'clock. So if you like this taste, come back at 4. Jim lived in Richmond from 1990 to 2004, and he was a member of this congregation. And he's very happy to be back this morning. And just a short shout out as well. We are happy to have our first UU Bluegrass trio over here giving us a little taste later. Grant, Beth, and Katie, we're glad you're here too. So we'll enjoy some music from Jim now. So our theme for today is rest. Restoration begins with these 4 letters, R-E-S-T. What would it be like to live in a restful and a restored world? According to the teachings of Knapp Bishop Tricia Hersey, rest is not only restorative, but it's also a form of resistance. When we resist grind culture and give ourselves needed rest, we dream a new way of life into being. So take a breath with me, friends. Let it go. Sink down into your chairs or cuddle up on your couch at home, and let's ease into this time of worship together. May it be restorative for body and soul.
For this 1 hour by Paul Stefan Dodenhoff. For this 1 hour, Spirit of Life, we let go. For this 1 hour, we let go of our anxieties, our fears, our anger, our self-doubts, our regrets, our petty grievances, and our distractions. If only for this 1 hour, let the flame of this chalice burn them from our hearts and minds, and light our way to peace and serenity for this one holy hour.
Good morning. So I'm going to teach us a new song. It's called Where You Go by Shoshana Jedwab. And I'm gonna teach it to you first, and then we're gonna sing it for real. So I'm gonna do it, and then I want you to just copy me. You'll figure it out. You'll be fine. It'll be fine. Where you go, I will go, my people. Where you go, I will go. Your turn. Good, good. It does that twice, but the words will be up there. And then this is the second half. And your people are my people. Your people are mine. Go. All right, I think that's enough. I think you'll get it. So, yep, Kat's gonna throw the words up there. Here we go, guys. Where you go, I will go. Ancestors, where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go. Ancestors, where you go, I will go. And where you lie, I will lie. Ancestors, where you lie, I will lie. Where you lie, I will lie. Ancestors, where you lie, I will lie. And your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You can do the next slide, Katie. Where you go, I will go, Mother Earth. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go. Where you lie, I will lie, Mother Earth. Where you lie, I will lie. Where you lie, I will lie, Mother Earth. Where you lie, I will lie. And your creatures are my creatures. Your creatures are mine. Your creatures are my creatures. You're divine, my divine. And your creatures Good job, guys.
Good morning. I'm Reggie Gordon. Reggie Gordon, and I'm just going to make a statement before I read this poem. When I started at the City of Richmond, I worked for the City of Richmond, and I started there 6 years ago as the director of the Office of Community Wealth Building. And I asked my staff to carve out time every Friday afternoon for us to listen to people. We did that for 2 years. We listened to people from all walks of life, but primarily people who lived in our public housing communities. We wanted to make sure that our programs and initiatives aligned with the real lives of people. The listening sessions were quite successful. We had scores and scores of people to make a reservation and come talk to us. And one Friday, a woman was relaying the trauma of being in financial struggle as she lived in Richmond. All of us, quite honestly, were near tears by the end of her story. So, as the listening session concluded, I tried to lighten the mood by asking her, "Tell me about your dreams." She said, "Mr. Gordon, I don't dream." She continued, "As soon as I leave here, City Hall, I need to make my way across town to a church that's having free supper. I need to figure out how to maybe finagle my way to get an extra supper or two so I'll have food to feed my kids for the weekend." She said her life is a constant struggle to survive. She said, "I don't have time to dream." That exchange has stuck with me. She was exhausted. And I realized that I had and have the privilege and time to dream. Meanwhile, this very moment, there are hundreds of residents of Richmond who are just like that woman, people who've given up on dreaming. So I now have a different approach and respect for dreaming. I feel that I should find ways to help other people feel the freedom to dream. So in her honor, and for the thousands of other people who are too tired to dream, I offer this poem by Langston Hughes. Hold fast to your dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to your dreams, for when dreams go, life is a barren field frozen with snow.
Thank you, Reggie, for that story. So we've come to a moment of meditation. We're going to have a rest meditation practice. And in order to be able to have time to dream, as Reggie was just describing, we have to have moments with gap space in order to let go and rest, whether it's a daydream or a night dream. So go ahead and get even more comfortable. In your chairs or at home, on your couch. Maybe there are some of you out there in your bed. Get cozy, root your feet on the ground in front of you or stretch your legs out long. Let your body find its way into a reclined position and let your eyes gently close. And this rest meditation practice comes from the NAP Ministry and Tricia Hersey. Scanning your body, notice any tension and breathe deep. Imagine a world without limits. Inhale deep from your belly and suspend your breath in for a count of 4. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, and release your breath. Exhale. And again, breathe in and hold for 4. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Suspend your breath and then let go. Exhale. Imagine a world without oppression. Take more time here. Visualize softness. Breathe deep. Envision a world centered in justice. Stay here and breathe. Welcome to our dream space. Trisha invites us. This is a download, a daydream. Stay here. Stay in rest. Stay in the dream space. Our collective rest will save us. You are enough. Our dreams are enough. This is imagination work. A portal opens when we slow down. You can rest. And continue to breathe as you release the layers of tension and invite ease for a few minutes of restorative silence, starting now.
Good morning. I'm Tasha McKelvey. My husband, Jeremy Weiland, and myself recently joined First UU. At the beginning of April, I was thrilled to see that Fonticello Food Forest was going to be the recipient of Share the Plate this month. Technically, Fonticello Food Forest is a Richmond City community garden, just like about 15 other community gardens located throughout the city. But Funicello is so much more than just a community garden and a place to grow plants. Not that that's not great in and of itself. Funicello is located within an economically diverse area of Richmond. They're adjacent to Funicello Park, formerly known as Carter Jones Park. The food forest is situated between the Woodland Heights neighborhood and the Swansboro neighborhood. The location is located within what's considered to be a food forest, or sorry, a food desert. The closest place to purchase fresh food from that area is about 2 miles away. Many of the residents in the area have limited transportation options as well, making it even more difficult to get fresh foods. Funicello's raised beds planted with garden vegetables that are available for anybody to harvest. They have planted a large fruit orchard that also is available for anybody to harvest. There are pollinator gardens and medicinal plant beds. Volunteers have built nature and play areas for kids, and there's a community pantry available 24/7. But one of the most vital things that Funicello offers is their free farm stands every Wednesday and once a month on a Saturday. The farm stands make fresh fruit and vegetables available to the community completely for free in the spirit of mutual aid. I've spent time at Funicello Food Forest myself, planting seedlings that I have grown, participating in community events like plant and seed swaps. I also visit regularly to restock their seed sharing library, which is up here, which is actually inspired by my own project, the Spring Hill Seed Library, where we share seeds with the community to help create more abundance. Funicello is always open to working with other community groups, organizations, and individuals. In doing so, they're providing much-needed community space for much-needed community engagement in an underserved area of the city. This afternoon, from 1 to 3, they're hosting a fairy house workshop for kids, where the children will be able to create a fairy house made out of clay that will later be fired and glazed, and it will be installed into the gardens at Funicello. Everybody's welcome. I'm going to go by right after this myself to be there for a little bit, and I'll be doing another little garden takeaway project with the kids. In closing, I just wanted to say Funicello Food Forest is such a worthy recipient for Share the Plate this month, and I hope you'll give generously if you're able. Thank you.
So as always, our ways to give are on the screen, and we have our lovely ushers coming around with baskets for those of you in person. Thank you again to Jim Wilson. He's back here this afternoon, folks. So if you're getting tired yet, that's actually a good thing today. Take another breath with me. If you're brave, breathe in and exhale with a sigh. It's amazing that we live in a culture where breathing and sighing can be acts of bravery. Are you with me? Because they're so far outside of the norm. Let's do that again. Breathe in. Yeah, feels good. This is the grip that the grind culture has over our bodies. And this is why rest and listening to our bodies is an act of resistance, of resisting the grip of the grind culture, of the toxic marriage between capitalism and white supremacy culture, the grind. Our time together today is an invitation to imagine a new way of being and to loosen this grip that grind culture has around our bodies and our lives. Our bodies are of earth. They're made up of ancient minerals, elements, air, water that dreams of flowing to the lowest point downstream. Toni Morrison once wrote, "All water has perfect memory and is forever trying to get back to where it was. And we are made of water. Our bodies, these bodies of water that we live in, they remember an ancient way. They long to return to their natural, flowing, rested way of being." See, we're talking about dreaming a new way of being, but the grind culture is really the new thing, right? This is also about not just imagining, but remembering. So today's service is inspired by the work of Tricia Hersey. You know I like books. Here's her book that was released in October. Rest is Resistance. Tricia Hersey is a womanist, a performance artist, a poet, a community organizer, and is known as the NAP Bishop. Hersey is the founder of the NAP Ministry, and as I said, she authored Rest is Resistance, recently inspired by the NAP Ministry. Tricia Hersey is a modern-day prophet reminding us of an ancient truth. Our bodies know what they need. If we listen to our bodies and yield to this truth collectively, communally, and most important, lovingly, we will find our way out of the grind, out of the grip of the grind culture and toxic capitalist white supremacy, and into the arms of sacred rest and so much more. The NAP Ministry has 4 tenets. These tenets were revealed to Hersey over a series of months as she entered her personal exploration before she decided to share her ministry with others. Rest for Hersey and for all of us is a way for her first to heal from grind culture, and then she decided to share it. So here are the 4 tenets of the NAP Ministry that she developed or that came to her. 1, rest is a form of resistance because it disrupts and pushes back against capitalism and white supremacy culture. Said that a couple times now. 2, our bodies are a site of liberation. Our bodies are a site of liberation. 3, naps provide a portal to imagine, invent, and heal. And 4, our dream space has been stolen and we want it back. we will reclaim it via rest. Take another breath. I need to. In answer to the question, who is resting for? Hersey replies, rest is for the weary, for the hard workers, for those trying to make a way, for those making a way yet still suffering from disconnection, for those wondering when they will be able to get a full night's sleep, for those thinking they aren't worthy enough to sleep and don't deserve rest because they've been socialized to believe this, for the faith workers and those out on the front lines, to those raising children and trying to do what's best, to the entrepreneur, to the unemployed, to the blue-collar worker, to the white-collar worker, to those brainwashed by a system that has taught you you aren't enough unless you produce. Rest is for all of us. Resting, however, and our participation in, and therefore needed extraction from, grind culture, which is a byproduct of what? Capitalism and white supremacy culture, will look different for each of us. The NAP ministry is rooted in the embodied Black experience, which is informed by the ancestral memory of slavery, as well as stories of those who resisted this oppression and dreamed new ways into being. So our culture today is about productivity and doesn't let us rest. And if you want a deeper dive, if you haven't already, and I know this congregation does its homework, into the ways that bodies were forced not to rest for more than 15-hour days to 20 to 21 to 22 to 23-hour days when enslaved. That is where this is coming out of. That's the ancestral memory that this ministry is speaking back to, is resisting. And that's what Hersey is saying is still propelling. The energy of this is still propelling all of us today in different ways. So it's informed by this experience and, as I said, by stories of those who resisted this oppression. So Harriet Tubman, the conductor of the Underground Railroad, has been a muse for Tricia Hersey and the NAP ministry. Prior to escorting many formerly enslaved Africans to freedom, Tubman first woke up with a prophetic dream. She woke up from a dream shouting, "My people are free." In her dream, it had already happened. She was sleeping in an imaginal space. She'd seen it while dreaming, and the imaginal landscape of her dreaming mind helped bring about a revolution in the waking world. Her dreams became reality. Now, Hersey herself also experienced a prophetic dream before the NAP ministry was created, and it prompted the start of her resting, and then that became the birth of her own ministry. She was sitting on her couch late at night studying at the end of a very long day. She outlines the list of 30 things in her day, in her book, The Way That She Used to Live Before Embracing Rest, commuting to work, to school, to different jobs, parenting, and then back at home and studying more for graduate school. And in this story, she falls asleep with her notebook open on her couch. And she has a dream where she's swaddled. And she's experiencing the deepest, most restorative rest. The rest that her tired and overworked body deeply needed. And her dreaming mind showed her what was possible, a glimpse into a new way of being. So whether this dream was actually a premonition or a spirit message that served as inspiration, or maybe both, the experience of deep rest in this dream helped Percy wake up from the grip of the grind that the grind had on her and move into a ministry of rest for herself and for us all. And her next step, her next move, her response to bring this dream into reality was to deny the grip of the grind culture and begin gifting her body with rest. And this is not something that she did one time, but it became a practice over months and years, and she's still practicing, still transforming. It's still a path she travels on. And we, as travelers, can join walking on this path. Walking, in a physical sense, is a way of moving forward that involves falling. With each step, we reach out a limb, and we fall forward. We reach a foot into the void, and we fall forward, trusting that the ground ahead of us will catch us. Moving forward into a new way of being is like walking, one nap at a time, one untethered act of resistance at a time. We keep on moving forward until all people, all beings are free. So the nap ministry, you see, it's about rest, but it's about so much more than taking naps, right? It's about decolonizing our bodies, delinking our physical beings and our lives from a culture that does not respect our lives. And if you think this culture respects your life because of the color of your white body, for those of you who have those bodies, think again. It doesn't respect any of us. It doesn't respect any of us. It uses all of us. Although it's true that it uses some of us in a more obvious way than others, and particularly those of the melanated variety or those who don't have enough money, who are suffering from poverty, working jobs. But really, who are we to kid? Once we get into the jobs, no matter how high we climb, how many people actually rest? There are different varieties, and delinking in all of the different ways, and supporting those who need the most support to do that, because it's not as easy for everyone, that's the way we get out together. It's not about me getting out or you. It's about us all doing it together. Nap ministry is shape-shifting work, it's culture-shifting work, and it's a work of dreaming a new, liberated life into being. So, of course, it does include the practice of actually napping. Of course, right? It's a nap ministry. Of closing your eyes and laying your body down to rest in a space where you feel safe to do so. Any space that you feel safe to do so, it could be here. But the nap ministry is also something deeper, something spiritual, and it's a belief not just in the value of rest. It's a belief in the value of ourselves, that we deserve rest, that we are more important than the machine. It's a belief in listening and responding to our bodies as a spiritual practice. It's belief that worn out, overworked, tired to the core bodies deserve liberation. Nap ministry is about freedom. So Hersey's ministry is rooted in her identity as a Black woman, as I've said, and the study and practice of womanism. And I'm going to talk a little bit about womanism for a moment. The word womanist was coined by Alice Walker in, some say 79, some say 83. And it's grown into an ideology, a theology, and a movement that's centered in Black culture and Black women's lived experience. And it can be outlined by 4 tenets. So I'm going to share those tenets with you. 1, radical subjectivity. 2, traditional communalism. 3, redemptive self-love. And 4, critical engagement. So I'm sharing that with you because these 4 tenets of womanism are so clearly woven into Tricia Hersey's work. So let's look at it. Through embodying the tenet of radical subjectivity, Hersey imagines a new way of being. She radically imagines a new way of being untethered by the grip of the old. Through embodying the tenet of traditional communalism, Hersey's personal revelations were shared in community right away. Through sharing her revelations with others through the NAP community NAP experiences, Hersey's ministry has become a path for collective liberation. Through embodying the 3rd tenet, the tenet of redemptive self-love, Hersey chose to turn away from being exploited, from exploitation by the grind culture, and give her body the sacred rest that it needed. And through embodying critical engagement, Hersey confronted the myth that bodies should be pushed to their limits, and subversively centered the sanctity of bodies. In response to her critical assessment of the culture that she and we live in. This ministry is a path to liberation, and it's a reminder to respect the inherent dignity and divinity within us all. So it might sound easy, but this isn't actually easy work. There will be obstacles on your path to rest. There will be obstacles because, as Hersey teaches, every system in our culture is in collaboration for us not to rest. Every system in our culture is in collaboration for us not to rest. And yet, Hersey teaches us, tenet 2 of the NAP ministry, our bodies are a site of liberation. Our bodies are what? A site of liberation. Our bodies are a site of liberation. Liberation is possible through and of our bodies, our living, breathing animal bodies, and through our bodies, we can be set free. Resting is the seedbed that blooms with the fruit of the subversive imagination, and we must water this seedbed with the energy of love. And I'm not going to quote Bell Hooks today, but she is one of the influences, and if you would like to read more Bell Hooks and all about love, check out that book as well. The energy of love is central to community care, Hersey shares. Dreaming becomes the prescription and balm needed to sustain this rest resistance long term. Loving ourselves and each other deepens our disruption of the dominant systems. They want us unwell, fearful, exhausted, and without deep self-love, because you are easier to manipulate when you're distracted by what's not real or true. Hersey's ministry began with collective napping experiences just very recently, actually in 2017. And we are going to hear the invocation to the collective napping experiences now. Are you ready for that? Okay. I invite you to lean into the energy of sacred rest. In her words, this invocation is an invitation and a transmission to open the portal of rest. So if you're at home, this might be easy to do, recline on your couch. If you're here, if you're brave, you could lay on the floor. I'm not going to stop you. Lean in your chair, Rest. Make yourself comfortable. It's always possible to rest in any space that we feel safe to do so. And receive this transmission of Hersey's words. The doors of the Knapp Temple are open. Won't you come? This is an invitation for weary souls to rest. This is a resistance. This is a protest. This is a counter-narrative to the lie that we aren't doing enough. We are enough. This is a counter-narrative to the lie that our worth is tied to the grind of capitalism and the lie of white supremacy. You are enough simply by being alive. Thank you for living. Thank you for resisting. Thank you for creating. Thank you for dreaming. Thank you for resting. We believe that our healing can visit us while we are napping, while we are resting, while we are sleeping, while we are slowing down. We believe that naps provide a dream and visioning space to invent, to create, to heal, to imagine. This is what resistance looks like. Won't you come? This is a resistance. This is a protest. And as we allow this message, this invitation and invocation to continue to wash over us, our minds, bodies, and spirits, just take a few more breaths. This is Trisha's instruction to breathe in and hold for the count of 4. And exhale. May the spirit of the Knapp Ministry be a companion to you in the coming days and years of your life as we dismantle supremacy culture and dream weave our way into collective liberation. Amen, amen, ashe, and blessed be. And just sit gently there as we receive a little more of a music offering from our First UU House Bluegrass Trio. You can open your eyes if you like. Your bodies might even feel like they want to stretch and move.
trust the movement. I negate the chaos, uplift the negative. I'll show up at the table again and again and again. I'll close my mouth and learn to listen. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 It's all we can do to stay uplifted. Pipelines through backyards, wolves howling out front. Yeah, I've got my crew, but truth is what I want. Realigned and on point, power to the peaceful, prayers to the waters, women at the center, all vessels open to give and receive. Let's see the system brought down to its knees. Whoa, 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 whoa. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Whoa, 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 whoa. Ooh, ooh, I'm made of thunder, I'm made of lightning, I'm made of dirt, yeah, made of the fine things. My father taught me that I'm a speck of dust and this world was made for me, so let's go and try our luck, say. I've got my roots down, 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 down deep. I've got my roots down, 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 down deep. I've got my roots down, down, down deep. I've got my roots down, down, down deep. So what are we doing here? What has been done? What are you gonna do about it when the world comes undone? My voice feels tiny, I'm sure so does yours. Put us all together, make a mighty I am resilient, I trust the movement, I negate the chaos, uplift the negative. I'll show up at the table again and again and again. I'll close my mouth and learn to listen.
Chalice extinguishing transatlantic notes. Love yourself enough. While productivity can bring a sense of purpose, it is not a measure of your value or success. Love yourself enough to be intentional with your time and allow for recovery and rest.
Would you want to keep sitting or would you like to rise for the benediction? You don't all have to do the same thing. Yeah, let's stretch a little. Great. These words were written in support of Rest is Resistance, and they are by Nikki Giovanni. Sometimes the window is open and a breeze comes through singing a sweet song. It's nap time. Grandmother sits on the front porch. Grandpa cuts the grass. It's a song. You nap, I nap. A book settles beside us. Rest is resistance. It is a war we will win. As you prepare to leave this place, may you take with you the wisdom of rest, the power of rest, the sweet release of rest, the restorative justice of rest, and may the dream space ever be with you. Amen, and may it be so. So may you go in peace, but before you go, Jamie is going to teach us one more song. It's going to be quick. It's going to let you move a little bit.
This one doesn't require that much teaching. Y'all kind of know this one.
Great.
Nothing but peace is enough for